once again. Election night in America and control of Congress is on the line. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bill Fitzgerald in the CBS 6 studio, and joining me tonight, as always, is our political analyst, Dr. Bob Holsworth. Bob, thanks for sticking around this exciting night. So what are the main races in Virginia that you're watching right now?
Well, right now we're really focused on the Elaine Luria-Jen Kiggans race down in Virginia Beach. Elaine Luria is the incumbent. Jen Kiggans is ahead. A lot of the early votes not in. It should tighten. The other race that everybody's watching from around here as well is Abigail Spanberger. Even though that district has moved up to Prince William, a lot of people remember her from here, and that's a very important race in the overall congressional environment as well.
And she's from Henrico and has quite a base here, and you mentioned earlier the volunteer army that she has.
Yeah, exactly. And so right now she's still down by about 6,000 votes. Little more than 90% of the vote is in, but the remaining vote, we think, is partially early vote, where the Democrats are running very strong, and partially vote in Prince William County, which is sort of the Democratic stronghold in that part of the district. So that race is going to be tightened up even more, and that's really a toss-up right now. You can't call it for either person.
Yeah, we printed up this graphic a little while ago, and since then more results have come in, so it has narrowed from what you're watching on your screen. It looks like about 11,000, almost exactly 11,000 votes there, but it has since narrowed to under 6,000, about 3 percentage points separating the two right now. Obviously, that's going to go down to the wire, and especially if the other pockets out there that might tend to favor Spanberger. It seems like we're having incredibly high turnout, or is it just because we're watching these exciting races? But we had a precinct manager out in Henrico today tell us he thought over 60% would be turning out. Well, some big numbers.
Yeah, people are more energized about politics today than they have been in a while. We saw that in the presidential race. And here's the other thing, Bill, particularly in Virginia, it's a lot easier to vote now. You have the early voting, you have the mail-in voting, but particularly that early vote where you can go vote for weeks. That really makes it easier for people to get out there, particularly those individuals who might have trouble getting to the polls on Election Day. And, you know, some people quarrel about that, but I just think it's great that we have that opportunity to go out there, not just have Election Day, but really have an election season right now.
Yeah, and we had talked about before about how 2 years ago, we were waiting late into the night for all those early ballots, the absentee ballots, some of them, but mainly the early ballots, to come in, and they came in with a rush close to 11 o'clock, and that sort of changed the whole nature of the races we've been following. Our viewers complained, said, you know, I thought the trend of the race was this one way, and all of a sudden, how did it change so abruptly? This time, we thought we were going to get them all early, but even so, we're still waiting.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the early vote. Everyone had said that they were going to count the early vote and the absentee vote first, and then allocate it to these different precincts. That must be the holdup now, is sort of allocating that vote. And the reality is, we're once again waiting for the early vote, which is going to determine two of the key races, not only in Virginia, but for control of the U.S. Congress.
All right, let's take a look at some of the results that have been coming in so far. And we'll look at, of course, the first incumbent Republican, Rob Whitman, cruising to victory here, 59-40, with pretty much 85% in. That's not likely to change. He was expected to cruise. Let's go to District 2 now, and that's the one that Bob and I were just talking about moments ago. Jen Kiggans, the Republican, challenging incumbent Elaine Luria. It looks like so far Kiggans has an almost insurmountable lead. It says 44%. A few more have come in, and that gap is still significant. Has not changed with the results that have just come in. District 4, incumbent Democrat Donald McEachin cruising as was expected. That's with 86% of the precinct in. And I believe we're going to go to District 5 now. That's right, Bob Good, incumbent Republican, cruising himself to victory over Joshua Thronberg. And of course, the other one that we've been watching and talking about, and this one likely, as Bob says, to go down to the wire. It has narrowed even in the short time we've been sitting out here, and yet it has narrowed still further. They're now about 3 points apart, or just under 6,000 votes. Vega ahead of Spanberger thus far, but with several more pockets to come in. And remember, you can find all the local election results on WTVR.com as well. And if you'd like to know which races received the most attention this year, look no further than the money. They always say follow the money. Well, a couple of contests in particular. Let's start with the 7th district race. That's mainly in Prince William, Stafford, and Spotsylvania. According to the Virginia Public Access Project, Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger got about $8.5 million of campaign contributions and other donations. Her opponent, who was slightly ahead thus far in the evening, Republican Yesli Vega, raised a little more than 2.9. That's comparable to District 2. That's the one out in Virginia Beach between Democrat incumbent Elaine Luria and Republican challenger Ken Kiggins in the Hampton Roads area. Luria raised $9.9 million, while Kiggins raised almost that exact amount as Vega, though, $2.9 million. Both of these races, the Republicans significantly under the Democratic incumbents. Now, compare the figures with the money in the new District 4 contest that runs from Richmond down to Emporia. VPAP saying Democratic incumbent Donald McEachin finished with about $868,000, while challenger Leon Benjamin raised $309,000. Clearly, one of these things is not like the other. One thing worth noting, though, in District 1, that includes parts of Henrico, Chesterfield, and Hanover, Republican Congressman Rob Whitman raised almost as much money as his fellow GOP candidates Vega and Kiggins, more than $2 million. But as you saw earlier, he is winning and expected to win easily.